And we're back with I'm so glad. Here today, we have a very special guest for a number of reasons. She is one of those who we speak of when we recite the moniker that Prairie View produces productive people. What prompted us to bring her on the show is a very important accomplishment for the university. Back in March, it was announced that Prairie View College of Agriculture and Human Science program is graduating 10 students who have been accepted into veterinarian school, a record number for the university. So here we have Dr. Aziza Glass, who is a product of the very same program and has amassed amazing success. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Glass. So she is a doctor of veterinary medicine, was born in Houston, Texas, where for years she nurtured her love for animals by watching television documentaries and performing her own animal behavior experiments. Dr. Glass graduated from Prairie View summa cum laude with a bachelor's of science in agriculture and a concentration in animal science. She played on the Prairie View golf team for 4 years and also graduated from Cornell University. She is a member of the American Veterinarian Medical Association, Texas Veterinary Medical Association, the American Academy of Veterinary Acupuncture, the International Veterinary Acupuncture Society, and the American Association of Traditional Chinese Veterinary Medicine. Beyond clinical medicine, Dr. Glass has a variety of molecular biology research experience in the areas of animal science, synthetic biology, animal behavior, and space biomedicine. She has studied extensively at top research institutions, including MIT and the NASA Johnson Space Center. Dr. Glass is the owner of Personal Touch Veterinary Clinic, where she focuses on integrative medicine with an emphasis on acupuncture and other alternative modalities. She enjoys leisure, reading, playing golf, and spending time with her close friends and family. Dr. Aziza Glass, we're so glad that you decided to join us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me to join you.
Certainly, certainly. So I'll start us off because we're really excited to have you. So please talk to us a little bit about what got you interested in becoming a veterinarian and how Prairie View contributed to that success.
Well, Prairie View actually played a really big role in my path to becoming a veterinarian at multiple stages. So I actually didn't grow up with pets. And the only way that I continued to learn about animals was watching the nature documentaries that you mentioned before. And my parents, I'm from Third Ward in the Houston area. And my parents were of the mindset that every summer you need to be doing something. You can't just be sitting idle. So they were always putting my sisters and myself in some type of summer program. And one year they were trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was going to be a rising junior in high school. And they came across a recruiter from Prairie View A&M University that had a program that was talking about this new program called the Research Apprentice Program that was in the College of Ag and Human Sciences. And my dad was like, oh, both of my parents are Prairie View alums. And they said, oh, this is at our alma mater. You get to stay on campus. It's a paid internship for high school students. It checks all the boxes. You go in there. Fill out this application. You go in there. And I had no idea about anything dealing with the world of agriculture. I'm from Third Ward. So when I got there, I was exposed to animal science. It was one of the most cool things that I had ever seen before in my life. I thought that, it was my first time I was really putting my hands on animals, like the pigs, the goats, everything. And I was just having a ball. And it was during that summer that I said, you know what, I think I want to study animals in college. And Prairie View didn't have zoology, and which is the study of animals. They had biology, and I didn't like plants. So I knew I was going to have to study plants in biology. So I said, well, I'm not going to do that. But there really wasn't a question of looking at another university, because at that time I was being recruited for the Prairie View golf team. So I knew that I was going to be getting a scholarship, and I knew that more than likely I was going to go to Prairie View. So it was like, well, how do I fit this, square, the circle into the square, kind of hole? And it just clicked. I can major in animal science. So that's how I even got to the animal science route in the College of Ag and Human Sciences. And then it wasn't until I still didn't think about becoming a veterinarian. It wasn't until I was in my sophomore year and I was seeing all the different upperclassmen that I looked up to were in the process of applying to grad school, and some of them were applying to vet school. And I realized, oh, I can become a veterinarian as well and still study animals, still go to graduate school, still become Dr. Aziza. And so for both of those stages, Prairie View played a very, very big role. And then my first big mentor, who was a veterinarian, was Dr. Wendell Baker, who has since passed. And he's a PV alum. And so he really took me under his wing. I learned a lot. That's where I learned about acupuncture. He was one of the first veterinary acupuncturists in the state of Texas. And I saw how it worked. I believed in it. And I said, man, I need to be doing this. So Prairie View really did play a big step every single year in my journey to become a veterinarian.
Wow.
I just have one back follow-up question of that. Do you know Dr. Charles Glass?
That's my father.
We worked at Texas Southern University and come by the house. I'm sure you probably forgot a couple of times I go there. And I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you, wanted to tease you. I'm sure you get that probably too much. But make sure you tell him I said hello. He was really influential in terms of the success I've had. So it's wonderful to see. Yeah, it's wonderful to see just your growth over the years. I've quietly followed you on the golf team and the success you've had there and your academic success at Prairie View. So it's enlightening to see you doing what you're doing. Continue the great work.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. He's in the next room watching my.
I knew he was. Tell it.
It's wonderful. You mentioned Dr. Wendell Baker. He had a clinic near Prairie View University. Like, he created one particularly for the area. Can you speak a little bit about his legacy? Because several students have been interviewed that are graduating and going on to veterinary school and have mentioned his impact on them. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when it comes to Dr. Baker, he really has a large, what you could say, progeny of veterinarians who he has touched their lives, from people who have been my mentors. The first person who gave me my job who hired me once I graduated from vet school, was one of his mentors. I mean, he's really been helping Black veterinarians, especially those from Prairie View, for like, I would say 30 years, maybe more. And especially if they come from Texas. I found out once I moved back from New York from Cornell, that I did not know a lot of the Black veterinarians because I went to Cornell, and a lot of them, further conversation, I found out that a lot of them went to Prairie View for undergrad if they were a veterinarian in Texas, and that they were also College of Ag and Human Sciences alums too. So, I mean, the College of Ag has a very rich history of Black veterinarians in the state of Texas. And a lot of them, in order to, so what a lot of people don't realize is that in order to even apply, not get, not just to apply to vet school, you have to have a certain number of hours shadowing a veterinarian. And, you know, a lot of times accessibility can be a huge gatekeeper, especially if you are a student of color, that maybe the community that you're from doesn't have a lot of veterinarians, or the veterinarians don't look like you. There's a lack of access. And so if you have a lack of access, then you could have the grades, you can have the recommendations, but if you don't have this particular box where you have been shadowing a veterinarian that will sign off on the hours, and I'm talking about 900, 1,000 hours and more, then you can apply. And so it has been a huge reason why there are some that, it's a huge reason that contributes to less than 2% of all veterinarians are Black. And with you being with someone being a Prairie View student, you're already in a very small community. It's not like you're in an urban environment where you have 20 different vet clinics to choose from. A lot of students, when they are not in class during the semester, they're working because they have to work, maybe to support their family, maybe to pay for their own degrees. And so really their only chance is to try to find something during the semester. And a lot of the veterinarians that were in the Waller County area were not welcoming to Prairie View students. I mean, it just is what it is. They were not. They treated them horribly. They talked to them crazy. But Dr. Baker's clinic was a safe haven, and it was a place for you to see the space, for you to see what it's like to become a veterinarian, to see the horses, see the cows, see the dogs, see the cats, and also see his interpersonal relationship. I mean, I was always amazed by the fact that there would be Waller County sheriffs that will come up and visit Dr. Baker and like just to have jokes and laugh. And I was like, I don't understand what's happening right now. But he had that type of respect from even people, you know, from the community who you wouldn't think so. And it was a huge inspiration for me. And I know that it's been a huge, that it's a large reason why he has played a huge role in a lot of veterinarians, myself included, from Prairie View going on and not only attending vet school, but also finishing and succeeding and being able to reach back and do the same.
Outstanding. Dr. Glass, this is Roland. I have a question for you. So as you said only less than 2%, I was like, wow, we're still in the single digits.
Yes.
We're still in the single digits with so many of these professions, right? When you think about what is it, shows like Married to Medicine, or what's the other one, Vet Life with Dr. Blue, Dr. Ross, those folks, do you think by putting Black excellence in more of the spotlight will help draw more people? Or have you even seen an increased number of vets, of African-American vets, since those shows have became more popular?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, yeah, absolutely. The thing that's amazing is the fact that even though we are less than 2%, if you actually look at, I want to say in the last 5 years, if you look at the amount of veterinarians that are in the media space, like in the entertainment sector, we actually have a pretty high percentage. And I think that that has caused both that, as well as, you know, everything that's happened with Black Lives Matter and this renewed push for meaningful, I have to say that, meaningful diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I picked up on
that that there is actually that there is a renewed interest and a new wave of young veterinarians that are applying, and they have the mentorship, they have the guidance. They're not, kind of grasping in the dark for this journey of what it takes to become a veterinarian. And I'm very happy that I'm one of those people. When I was in my senior year at Cornell, I was on a docu-series on Nat Geo Wow called Vet School. I think I may have been the first Black veterinarian on the network. And that was for a whole season. And so, just with that one season, I got so many calls, so many messages from parents, from students, from children that were saying, oh my gosh, I've never seen a veterinarian like you, my daughter, I want to, or I want to go to vet school, or someone who's like 35 at the time was like, you know what, I've been thinking about going and I don't know if it's too late. And just being able to, kind of give them encouraging words and be that image for them. That was 7 years ago, because that was in 2015. That was very rewarding. And then an opportunity came for me to do another project, which is Roman to the Rescue. It's currently on air right now. It currently airs on Hulu, Disney XD, Disney Now, and YouTube TV. And it's about this young boy who's 10 years old, Roman McCann, whose whole life mission is to get a forever home for every single dog that is in a shelter. And I am Dr. Aziza on the show. I am helping him navigate, the personality, the ups and downs of what it'll take to find the perfect family for this particular dog. And so now that I'm in the entertainment space again, once again, I'm seeing that kind of response, which is, it's inspiring. Once again, I've been wanting to become a veterinarian and I wasn't sure, or the classwork is so hard, but seeing you do this, this, and this, or looking the way you look or talking the way you talk, lets me know that I can do it too, that there is a space for me in the profession. So it's been having that representation on TV, I think, is playing a huge role. And then there's another show on Disney Plus right now, Dr. Joy, with Pop Goes the Vet. Dr. Courtney Campbell has done Pet Talk, and he does a lot of different stuff. He's on The Doctors. He's always on Rachel Ray, it seems like, Rachel Ray's talk show. You have the Vet Life show, and you have Critter Fixers, which is on Nat Geo Wow. These are all Black veterinarians, and so I'm very grateful to be a part of that cohort.
Well, we are excited to see you on television. We're glad to see that representation, and we're glad to see that you're representing Prairie View in the midst of all of that great media exposure that you're getting. So we really appreciate it, and great job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and Dr. Glass, one thing that you that I've read about as far as your expertise with fresh pet foods, and could you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, so I have been, I was interested in acupuncture in a very long time because of Dr. Baker. And so when I went to start my certification at the Chi Institute out in Florida, which is based in, their whole philosophy of teaching is based in traditional Chinese veterinary medicine, because acupuncture is one of the foundations of Chinese medicine. And I didn't know all these other components of Chinese medicine that integrates with acupuncture. And one of them was food therapy. And so once I started to get into it and I started to actually use it for some of my patients, I was seeing really good results, especially with patients that it was end of life care. These were dogs that were older, but they might have had cancer, and the whole goal was to just make them as comfortable as possible for as long as possible. And some of them didn't want to eat until we started making these home prepared type of diets. And I was utilizing food therapy, which I learned while getting my certification. And I said, you know what, I want to really focus on doing a lot more integrative medicine. So I started promoting it. And I think because of my voice, because of my platform, the brand that I've been cultivating ever since I graduated from vet school, I established myself as an expert in that area. And it was somebody, I checked a lot of the boxes that Fresh Pet was looking for. They were looking for a pet expert. They were looking for a veterinarian who understood and cared about food, and food that played a big role in nutrition in a way that isn't just about dry kibble or canned food. They also liked the fact that I had a lot of experience with media and with the entertainment space. And before I said yes to anything, I had to try it, on my own patients. And I, also gave it to asked some of the vet techs that I knew, or the equivalent to nurses, to try it, some other veterinarians to try it. And I got positive feedback. I saw the positive feedback, when with the different patients as well. And so I said, well, I am confident. It's been a great partnership and great collaboration. I really do like the philosophy of Fresh Pet. I like that, that it really helps to approach pet food in a new and creative way. And I think that's what's needed in order to shake up the status quo, which is, a lot of the big companies and how they've been able to really have control over the pet food industry for decades.
Wonderful. Okay, and we could talk to you all day, but I do have a final question. No, this is so interesting. I mean, all the things that you represent, and as Roland said, how you represent the university, how you represent athletics. We didn't even get to get into that, but hopefully we can get you back on the show another time and just, talk about more of that, because we've seen the growth and on the golf side as well. And that's been really amazing to watch. But what I want to ask you about right now is your clinic, Personal Touch Veterinary Clinic. Tell us about it. Where is it located? What made you want to start your own clinic as opposed to working for someone else? So I'm really curious about that.
Okay, so I worked for somebody else for about 3 years, right when I graduated, immediately from graduating from vet school. And just my first year was atrocious. The second year was atrocious, but I learned a whole lot.
Wow.
So, I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I like, at the end of the day, especially my second especially my second year, I have to say I learned a whole lot, and I cannot take that away from anybody who was there to give me feedback, to give me the criticism, to give me all of that, because it truly did make me into a better veterinarian. But when it came to the work environment, it was a toxic work environment, and it was someplace where it was hard for me to become confident in myself, to become confident in my own skills. It was a place that I didn't feel like I could ever be comfortable, that everybody was having an angle, or I was like, someone was waiting for a chance to pounce on a simple mistake that was made, whether or not I forgot to put a period at the end of the sentence on some medical notes, stuff like that. So, it really did come to a head during my 3rd year working for someone else. And I reached out to one of my mentors and I said, is what I'm dealing with a part, is it because of me, or does this come with being me? And he said, this is because of who you are. And in order for you to have a different experience, is that you're going to have to create your own thing. So it really did kind of free myself to just like take a leap of faith. And it was really a thing of necessity. I was having a lot of mental difficulty, a lot of anxiety. I was grinding my teeth. I was having headaches. I had to get a mouth guard. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And so when I got that, it was almost like getting permission to just breathe and create your own space, create your own lane. And that included not being shameful and hesitant of exploring my interest in being in entertainment. And just like how the crocodile hunter was, where he's able to teach about medicine, well, not medicine, but teach about science and animals to the audience, to the TV audience. I wanted to be able to do that too. I knew that I had a gift for that because of the vet school show. And then it's like, well, I'll just have to create my own thing, which is Personal Touch Veterinary Clinic. And it's a mobile clinic based out of Houston, Texas. But I have to say that I'm actually in the phase of expanding. So it is official. We have signed a lease. And so I am in the process of transitioning to my new clinic, which will be announced very soon. And we have our space. I'm actually partnering with a couple of other Black veterinarians, and our space is opening this fall.
Nice.
And it's a brick and mortar clinic with that, and we will still be doing house calls and having a mobile aspect for both large and small animals.
Nice.
Outstanding.
Incredible. You guys have heard it here first. Okay.
Good
So,
stuff.
well,
That's right.
How can people keep up with you? We know you have your website, azizaglass.com, but let us know your social media and how to get the updated news and keep up with you. And Prairie View fans, Prairie View alumni, please come and support. Bring your pets and all that to Personal Touch Clinic. But please tell us how we can stay in contact with you.
Yeah, so follow me on all my social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I even got a TikTok, and YouTube, Aziza Glass, AZIZAGLASS. Make sure you follow and subscribe. And I'm working on more projects. And so, stuff is not over. I still have more stuff coming that's in the pipeline. So definitely stay tuned and make sure that you also watch Roman to the Rescue, which is once again on YouTube TV, Hulu, Disney Now, and Disney XD.
Wonderful.
Good deal.
Thank
Will
you
do.
so
Will
much
do.
again for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you
most
for
definitely.
having me.
This has definitely been great, and we didn't even get to touch on that PV to Ivy League, but maybe next time.
Oh, yeah,
All
because
right.
it is interesting. It is interesting.
Yeah, we would definitely have to have you back. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Very happy. Your story is just amazing and definitely one of PV's most proudest daughters. So thank you again for joining us, and we will be right back with some ready shout outs.